Today for Wednesday, I realized as much as it's Canada Day and I will celebrate after my live, I did not make my cards Canada Day um, themed or I guess it would have been too late to make those anyway. So today it's not Canada themed. It is I'm going to be using the Valley in Bloom suite, which is one of the suites that's in our current catalog. Yes. I can never, it is so hard to remember when things are from the catalog or from the online exclusives or a pre-order. Um, but this is from the catalog. I hadn't shown it before. It wasn't in my pre-order. I ended up ordering it during the free shipping days that they had. It was on my list. I was on the fence, and then I was seeing all the projects, and I just couldn't resist anymore. And one of my son's girlfriends really likes lilies, and last year I went to make her a birthday card, and it didn't work so well because I didn't have any lilies. So this was kind of a two-tier reason for getting it. Um, and I chose the Valley and Bloom suite because I wanted to do some backgrounds and I realized how versatile this suite is for doing backgrounds. So we're going to well, the focus is to show you what backgrounds are offered in this suite, but also how to make some of your own. So it's not just using the designer series paper because there's other options with with the embossing folder and the Lux paper that there is as well. So I'm going to just spin you around. I'm just trying to think if there's anything. It's the start of July, so I haven't even gone on and looked, but there would have been some new card kits released. Um, there's the new product of the month, which is a beautiful stamp set. There's a new, I think it starts today. There's a new starter, not starter kit special, but there's a new they're doing a new starter kit starting in July. I'm pretty sure it starts today. When you join, they're going to be sending out a special starter kit box on top of the product you choose and stuff, and it's just a welcome box. But the the only thing is you only get it once. So if you join and then you drop and then you join again a couple months later or a year later or whatever, you won't get that box again. But that's okay because you'll have already gotten it. But it's a one-time box only, and there's like some kind of card kit, I believe. There's some pens, there's like little welcome and thanks for joining kind of gifts in there, which is kind of cool. So that's not extra. It's still the same kind of pricing and everything. It's just that's an extra that they're giving. So that's for the month of July. I think that's all for now. Yeah, so let's get turned around. I'll show you what's in the suite and then we'll get started on our cards. And I did forget oops. I'm not, it's like I haven't done this in a while, but I just did it last week. Um, ooh, that's crooked. Okay, there we go. Want to zoom in a bit, maybe? Um, all right, what was I going to say? Oh, yes, I've forgotten to say. If you are watching, let me know you're watching. Say hi, let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. I do try and check the comments as I go along. If you enjoy the video, make sure you hit the like. If you haven't already subscribed, you can subscribe to my channel and then it will give you notifications when I'm going live. Yeah, I just want to grow my channel if you enjoy it. All right, so this is the designer series paper for this suite. So it's got some beautiful, some of it's super busy, but then you've got the nice kind of more subtle. We're going to use this as one of our backgrounds. It's kind of done perfectly to divide up kind of into six backgrounds for cards, or you can, it's really good for scrapbooking as well if you're a scrapbooker. Um, and then it's got this, what is this, basic beige. So this is basic beige also with the green. Um, this is another one where it's all at the bottom. So another good one for scrapbooking. And then another kind of more subtle background. And then you've got the busy and then subtle again. And then there's, what's this one? This is the kind of, this one to me, they're both kind of busy, but they're just single color at least. And this one you already saw. I think that's all of them. Yeah, because this is the, pretty sure that's all of them. Make sure, yeah. And then there's a, so there's a whole other scrapbook bundle, kit, everything, but you can also purchase the stickers with the paper and not the scrapbook kit. So I'll just show you quickly. So this is the Valley and Bloom suite. So it has the bundle that has the stamp set and the dies. Then it has this beautiful embossing folder, which we're going to be using. It has some shimmering dots, and then this luxe white paper that I was talking about. We're going to use that for a background. And then for the scrapbook part, so then it's, you can get the sticker with the designer series paper. You can get the two-tone paper that matches, and then there's a bundle as well that goes with it. So it's a nice big. Hello, Marilyn from very hot Georgia. Oh, I think it's hot everywhere. My son is in Portugal right now and it's so hot. Um, Here it feels hot to me. It's very humid, which we're not used to. And we've just had storms and rain. It's been flooding in places. Just the weather's crazy everywhere. So what's hot? I know Georgia gets very hot. What is hot for you guys? Is it like 90s, hundreds? Where are things at? Do you have to cool your car before you get in? That one's always, I do have cooling um seats in my car and I barely ever use them. That is not some, we need the heated seats here, not the cooling seats. Okay, so for the first card, we're just gonna do a simple background card, but because the dies, so you have a couple options with the dies. You can stamp your lilies, which we're going to do on another card. Or there's the cutout with the lilies, and then you have the lilies that can go on top, which is what we're going to use for this one. And then we've got all the leaves and stuff. So for this one, I did cut a piece of that designer series paper where it was all the way around. So not the one that was just on the bottom, but all the way around. So one I used, like, they're opposite each other, but they still work the same way because you can cut it in half and then like it works either this way or this way kind of thing. So we have that. It's just it ends up being reversed from the card that I already made. So I did slice a piece off to get it to 5.5. You could use this on the inside of your card if you wanted to. But so this one, the background is super easy because you're not really doing anything other than cutting it out. And you have a super cute washed, like watercolor kind of look. And then I cut out two of the lilies. I did them in green. Now, obviously, I don't want my flowers in green. So you could cut it in white and just color, sorry, these leaves, just color the stems in green. That is another option. But what I decided to do when I cut all of these out is I'm just taking the mini white dimensionals, and you can either put them on the lilies or you can put them on the vine so you know where they're going. And then what I did was I took this, and this is light rich raspberry. So the color that goes with this sweet is blackberry bliss, but I wanted to go a bit lighter. 94. Heat it 105. Oh yes, that's very hot. Wow. Yeah, it's the weather is just crazy everywhere. It's either hot or I don't know if anywhere is cold these days, but there's fires and flooding and rain. Like we don't usually get a lot of rain. We are known to be a sunny city and the amount of rain, I think they said we had already hit um I I don't know if we actually broke the record, like 100-year record for the amount of rain. Um and just we've had more rain than we would have all season kind of already by the end of June. So, and then when it's not, it when usually here when it rains, it gets pretty cool. And then we've been getting heat and then we get thunderstorms. It's crazy. Okay, so I just wanted to add kind of mimic the way they are in here because I'm just adding it to um the background here, and then I'm going to add my flowers. Now they're all different sizes, and I just realized I didn't cut enough because I find you need to cut out, so they cut out in threes. To do one of these, you need two, I think. One, two, three, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you need, wait, no, that's not right. How am I counting 10? I have 7, and if you cut it out twice, that's only 6. So you need to do it 3 times to get your 7. You need rain. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. BC right next to us, they aren't getting the rain and they've got the fires and the lakes are low, and then here the rivers are flowing over. Like it's crazy. Um Mother Nature is all out of whack. But anyways, just kind of have to go with it, I guess. Try not to worry about everything the way it is. Just hope that everyone's okay and it all works out. All right, so I think if you don't want to keep them both at the same level because that looks kind of funny. So if you're doing two, you could do one also. You don't need two. It just depends how many. So you would have to cut out 5. If you do 5 times of the 3 flower sets, you'll have enough for the 2 branches. Oh my goodness, the math today. My brain is not working well enough. Okay, so then I cut out the leaves using this die. So there's a die where you can cut out the stamped image of the leaves, and you can also stamp the inside if you want to do the color. But what I did was I just cut it out of the green from the designer series paper because it has a nice a nice wash, and so it's got the variation in colors, which makes it nice. Now, once you get all the flowers on there, this solid green kind of disappears. You could cut these out of this green as well, but what I would recommend is then to stick it to a piece of basic white behind just to give it some, but if you're sticking it straight down, you don't even need the stability. You could just cut it out of the designer series paper. That works as well. And then all I did was I ended up stamping a sentiment directly onto the paper. So before you glue anything down, it's when it's nice and flat, it's the easiest time to stamp. And then we'll just do me here. And that one I used the Pretty Peacock. nice and dark. And then the finished card ends up with all your done up lilies. And then I used the embellishments from this suite. So they're called Shimmering Dots. And I don't know what color this is. It looks like Lemon Lime Twist, which is one of the colors in the papers. And then it has like some gold specks in it, but anyways, so that's the leaves that are just glued down. And then the only thing that's popped up is the flowers. And I cheated and I put on the adhesive sheet on the back before I cut it out, so that way I just can peel it and stick it on. So that is card number 1. Easy peasy, quick background. You're not really making the background. It's just an easy, quick, if you want to make a bunch of cards easily and quickly, that's a great way to do it. Okay. Oops. We've got some more flowers. All right. Next is the Lux paper I was talking. Lux? I don't even know how you're supposed to say it. It comes with 6 pieces of 12 by 12, and there's 3 designs. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to catch this on camera. But there's these ones that have like the lilies on them. So there's 2 of each. So there's 2 with the lilies. There's 2 with this kind of crisscross pattern. And then there's 2 with the leafy kind of background. Hopefully you can see that. There's my crisscross because that's what I'm using. All right, so for this one, I still used a piece of designer series paper, but I'm just using the nice plaid, nothing crazy, and then I'm adding to it. So I pre-cut a piece of just basic white with the everyday arches, and then I cut out one smaller using the crisscross Lux paper. And then I started out blender brushing this with Lemon Lolly, but it was taking forever. And so I thought, why not use the brayer? I don't forget about it per se. I just always think, oh, but then I have to wash it, which really isn't that big of a deal. But anyways, so and you can like do as much or as little, like if you want it to be uneven, you could kind of leave it like that and have it look a little bit distressed. I would like a little bit more at least. My other one I did solid. I'm going to try and do this one more of a distressed look, and then we can see the difference. See what we like better. I don't know which way you want to go. Okay, and then wipe your ink off your surface. If you're doing it on paper, that's the one advantage with the paper versus the glass, because the ink won't then come up on and you can see my paper is curling a bit probably from the wet wipe, and also a bit from the ink. So you just want to let that dry a bit, but then, so I don't know if you can see, it does make the crisscrosses pop. So the darker the color, obviously, the more those crisscrosses will pop. So you might want to have the solid background to really pop them if that's what you're looking for. And then where is I'm missing my paper. The white piece of paper. Seems to be missing. Let's see if we can put it on here. So then I have the stamp. Oh, not quite. It's a little too small. Let me just cut the piece here. Oh, the piece here. got it. All right, and then I stamped it with Pretty Peacock. And again, this is the one you can cut out. Um, there's the die that goes with it. Okay. And then you can color it in as much or as little as you want. In my first one, I used the Blackberry Bliss, but this one I think I would rather use maybe like Pool Party. Just make it a little bit more subtle. I hadn't thought about my whole color scheme in the end when I originally did my card. And I like the card. I just, you know how sometimes you create something and it's not fully what you want, or you could, I don't know, sometimes I'll redo things if I really don't like it. So this just makes it more subtle. If you really want to make um the blend more. I don't know if this is the dry one or the one. No, it's fine. You can kind of come in with your, what do they call it? Color lifter, just to kind of, so that it blends and it doesn't have that harsh of a line. So you can blend it all out. The only risk you're taking with using this on a color stamped is it might also affect your stamped image, like the Pretty Peacock, but I find it does make it softer a little bit. And then you can just take the die and we'll run it and cut it out. I'll just do a quick run through the, I still am in the on a mission to get a big boss cam that I can switch over. I need a tech. It's funny because I bug my husband all the time because he is trained as a automation engineer, but that's not what he does now. So he doesn't automate stuff, and he's like the least techy person. He used to be all, when we were building, he wanted to automate everything in our house. We didn't. We just we pre-wired everything and then we didn't do anything. But it's just funny because it's like you should be able to do all this stuff. Anyway, so then we have our flowers. Got to say, I need my middle son to come home. He's in engineering and he's, I don't know if you'd call him techy. He's good at computer stuff. So maybe he can help me. He just never has time. He's usually only home for a week at a time in between school and co-op terms. So, all right. Yeah, it's funny. It's hard to get their time. So I used Granny Apple Green there. The colors in the suite are Granny Apple Green, Lemon Lime Twist, and Garden Green. And I just felt like Garden Green might be a little too dark. It probably wouldn't look that much different in the end. But I used the Garden Green. And then you can cut those out using this die. And through the magic of television, we have our cut leaves. And then we need a sentiment. So I took some Blackberry Bliss and the Happy Birthday from the stamp set. And I ended up using some white embossing powder and I just stamped it and fussy cut it. And that was the end look of my card. So you can see I I did oh, I forgot that's what I was gonna do. So on this one, I spotted it with water and you could kind of see it, but it ended up kind of disappearing out. Like it just looks a little bit more faded, kind of like this where the water hit. So my plan was to go darker with this and then use Wink Stella because I don't think the Wink Stella will show if we have this too light. So let's go. I forgot. Can I change my my plans partway through? This is what happens. Okay, so we're gonna go a bit darker. So it's still a little bit uneven. I'm gonna try and get that color on there. You might want to try with a, I guess I could have tried with like I could have done like Pretty Peacock or Blackberry Bliss. Like that would probably really make it pop. Um, but let's see. Let's see what we can do with this. So I think with the Wink Stella, I'll just put some on the glass plate here. And actually, well, I didn't have to do that. I just needed something to flick. It's probably easier with a brush, but and then if you want some bigger drops, you can kind of, ooh, that's really big. That's a really big one. Okay, so we've got our drops. We'll see what happens as that dries. Hopefully it's not like these very intrusive dots, but we'll see. I will take pictures. So I popped this up and I did cut off the stem and then I actually had put it so that I sat the bottom flowers kind of on top of there and went underneath it. Oops. And then cut off kind of where I didn't want it to be. Like that. And then I popped that up and then I put the happy birthday on top. And I didn't add any gems to this one, but you totally could if you wanted to. So that's that one. I'm going to let this dry though before putting that together. Okay, this last one is my favorite. It is the wow card in my mind. And for those of you who have watched before, you know I love embossing folders and all the techniques that you can do with them. So I took this beautiful embossing folder that goes with the set. And I have a piece of paper. This is a 3D embossing folder. So I'm gonna wet this with my words are escaping me. Wipe, my wet wipe. All right, I'm getting the big boss here. And then try, if you're using a wet wipe, try and use one that doesn't have color all over it, or make sure you're wetting the back of your card instead of the front, because otherwise you might run into problems. All right, so we've got our 3D folder. We got to make sure the whole thing is on the plate because it's a big one. And then we're just going to run it through. Ooh, sorry. As I'm hitting the. Okay. And then this is when this is the first wow. And then the reveals throughout. All right, so this is what it looks like popped up. So this is the front side and this is the negative side. For this technique, we're going to use the negative side. So the negative side would be the side. So I don't know if it's always this way where the popped up side is the front, but I'm using the side that's on the non Stampin' Up side, if that makes sense. And it's the side that goes in instead of up. So then I cut this down. You could make a bigger card with this. You could use it as a strip for scrapbooking. I cut it down to card size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I took this middle flower piece. Okay, oh, so this is the top, so now we need the reverse. And then what I did was I took some Granny or Lemon Lime Twist, Coastal Cabana, and some Granny Apple Green, I believe. And I used my blender brushes, except for I don't know what I did with my brushes. Okay, so we've got greens. I just want to wipe this off because I think it has the darker green on it first. Do you guys know if you take paper towel and just rub it off? I do have enough brushes for not each color, but each color group. So like I have a green and a dark green, and I have a light blue green and a dark blue green. So just all but if some of them are quite different from one another, so I do try and wipe it off if I know I've used a dark color for for the light side or whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna start with Coastal Cabana, I think. Usually I put it on my glass, but I'm not using that much ink, so I'd still wipe it off on my glass to make it softer. And I'm just gonna come in and randomly, this is gonna look ugly. I'm warning you. This is not the pretty part. And you can go dark or you could go light, whatever your preference is. And you kind of want to be a little bit random. I'm not good. I'm very not good at random. I overthink it and then it's not random. But I'm going to try. I'm trying to be random here. Okay, so that's the blue. Then we'll do the light green first. These will come in here. 1, 2, 3. We need another one. Maybe down here. And maybe up here. Okay. Then we're going to take our darker green. And I didn't want to go too dark, and you'll see why. But if you do go with a much darker green, there is another option. But I kept it so it's fairly similar. So if you do want more contrast, you might have to go with the garden green. I feel like it needs a bit more blue. We're missing some blue here. Okay. So then once you're happy with your coloring, it looks like a mess. It doesn't look like much. I get it. Now you're probably like, what the heck are you doing? You've just lost the whole picture. But wait, this is the ta-da moment. So I'm gonna take my garden green. Now, if you want to be fast, you can swipe it. The only thing by swiping it is because these pads are soft. So once we go to the felt pads, it won't be an issue. But you could, and because it's wider here too, you could end up getting it into places you don't want to get it. So either you need to be light-handed or use your brayer. If you don't trust yourself, use your brayer. Now I'm going to come across like this. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Ugh, gorgeous. And I didn't really, like it's not like that took a lot of time or skill. It's just beautiful. It's all it is. So there we go. As long as you don't push hard, it doesn't get into the spots. And then you have this beautiful card, right? Isn't it gorgeous? All right. So once you've got that, you really don't need a whole lot more. You could add some lilies, but I just think this is the star of the show. Sorry, I'm like making a mess here. Let me just, this is just water. The one thing is your hands will get messy. Be forewarned. My hands always end up, especially if you're touching this while it's still wet. So I do suggest letting it dry. But I just basically put it on a white card base. I stamped happy birthday using the words and wishes. This is out of the current catalog as well. So I used just the happy birthday. I was going to use the font, like the die cuts, but I just thought, oh, it was just taking up too much of this beautiful card. So I just did the happy birthday, and I used the triple banner punch, and I cut it out, one with the full banner and one with the half. And then I used the beautiful butterfly, uh, the in color butterfly embellishments, just the whites. Aren't they so cute? Super cute, right? I love this card. This is my favorite out of the three, for sure. Let me know what you think. So there's that one, this one, and this one. These are my three cards for this week. But yeah, this one it just pops. I started with Granny Apple Green as my topper, and it just wasn't quite dark enough. And then once I went darker, but you could even try it with, like, I thought about using Secret Sea. I think that would really pop, or even the Pretty Peacock if you wanted a blue, more blue on there. But either way, it's beautiful and you don't really have to do anything. So yeah, three pretty darn easy cards. This one takes the most cutting, and it's just assembling, but they're all super easy, and you have beautiful backgrounds for each of them, very different backgrounds. Um, but yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed that. And even if you don't have this suite, you can totally play with backgrounds, and like I'm sure you have embossing folders that you can do this same technique with. If you've got paper that has anything that has like glossy or foiled markings, you can color over that and get a different look, and then just a die that has cutouts, or some designer series paper that has a nice background to add to. So yeah, happy Canada Day again, and happy 4th of July for the Americans that's coming up. I know you guys go way bigger on your celebrations than we do. Um, I'm hoping to maybe watch fireworks tonight. I don't know. I think there's supposed to be thunderstorms, so we'll see. But yeah, hopefully you have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. I think is it a holiday weekend in the US? My son is going to watch the Canada soccer game in Houston on the weekend, so that should be through the 4th of July celebration. So that's going to be super cool for him to experience. Um, yeah. Anyways, hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate those of you who take the time to watch. I hope it gives you ideas. I hope it inspires you to get your craft supplies out and get creative. All right. Have a great week. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Bye.